Yeah, they have, and they missed their opportunity narrowly on Mirage of being able to get a 2-0 forward. For Budapest 5, they have probably lost a lot of momentum from map 2 going into map 3, just knowing how long it's been since we've had the break. But going into the knife round, it does seem that Wisla are going to be able to start, so probably go to pick into that CT basis.
Get the knife round win. So that's how the third map goes. Of course, side pick decided by the team that doesn't decide to pick the map itself, and then the third. Simple rules of best of threes. Depends on what Wisla really want to go with, but I imagine that, yeah, CT wraparound will be the best call for them, and yes, they will go to that CT side to start things off. So, predictions to make, things to watch out for, things you want to see in this map. What do you think?
I'm just hoping that we don't see a lot of missed utility, because for both teams not really playing Inferno, it is going to have to be quite dry. It's going to have to be quite forceful, aggressive on that T side. And for BP5, just wanted to see them play with some comfortability.
And we'll be on that T-side start for the pistol round. Double flash and smoke for Coolio to set things up on the T-side basis. Util on PHR and Goofy, and PHR has the defuse kit for the CT defensive line. I think whether they can do anything with that on the first contact face out to the apartments is Sparrow and PHR. They'll look for those first couple of kills back. Corey, flick to the headshot on that corner position. Had no idea he was there till he fired away, but starts things off for the T-side line.
Jeez, that should have been an easy kill coming through from Jedka, and instead it goes completely the other way. Bedino's down to 2 points of health, so he's taken a lot of damage early into the round. And for Wisla, they're only playing 1 on B of Goofy.
Watching position here as the T's get held back and wait for presence. Wait for a hit. Wait for their moment to strike. Out towards this banana control, looking like it will be the B play, and they have the smokes necessary for that to smoke off the cross, flash their way in. PHR and Goofy will be the defensive forces. They see one, can't tap those headshots. Goosh down, damage done, force out of the way. Taps continue as they make their way up. The fast man force back. Goofy will end up falling. He gets 1 kill on the way out, but it's still a 4v3 for the T's.
That doesn't even really get a chance to use much of his util at all. Rotations coming through in decent positions. Marcos just hoping to get a pick through that smoke. And for BP5, they've got themselves in a great position.
That's for Despero getting Bedito next up to the 3-on-3 scenario. Marcos got to find Fleeve next up around the corner. A headshot comes in nice and easy for the Glock. And still Vista are forced away. Still with that kit on PHR. Still 11 HP for him. Despero's got to be the main damage dealer. And he goes down so easy. PHR with 1 frag back. Doesn't last long. Fleeve with a kill. And a pistol for BP5.
Yeah, it all just really started with that first frag coming outside of the apartments itself. Vista just getting caught off. This turnaround, jeez. It came to whiff bullets, didn't it, from that CT side? Jedka could have had no way of allowing that to happen, and as soon as he did, just instant punishment.
Punishment comes down to everything there for their respective teams. And again, start out for BP5 exactly where they want to be here. They get a pistol and conversions will be the momentum set that they need to maintain control of themselves in this matchup. Damage done to Flea very early on towards this, however, the scout has done its work. Depression on PHR, who's also very low.
No, just using some of that utility towards the top of Banana from the T side. More of a lean in towards that bracket stake. And Marcos and the scout can have that crossfire being set out from the short and long position. BP5 just trying to see if they can bait an overly aggressive CT forward.
Smoke onto the apartments. Suppression still there. Out watching for Sparrow as the CT players wait for contact, wait for the hits here. Smokes on. Goofy waits. Sees one head. Can't get a headshot though. He's got a smoke in his hand.
I am getting worried about how slow this round could be for BP5. Re-smoke in from the top of Banana. Goofy's still got a flash, and they're rotating a couple of players in from CT Sport over to B-side. Budapest 5 are going to be running into a stag.
Smoke set, scout looking in, looks for contact, shot to connect to the legs, not to the kills, no casualties still. Finally, PHR and Goofy crossfire with those Deagles, get those 2 frags in. Coolio tagged up, so is the next player in, and Aaron Fleeve also coming up with his pick back. And somehow, someway, Budapest 5 managed to force their way into that B site, but look at the HP for this post plant.
And this is still very winnable for the CTs. It's just got to come down to being able to find the information, trying to get some of these spam shots forward, and for BP5, they just can't peek.
Taps continue. Marcos desperately looking for a pixel. Galil in his hands. No util. Finally, Jacob with his swing onto Fleet. Finds Coolio as well. Kills come back for the Mac 10. Deagle strikes. Marcos can get his kill. Has he got time for this defuse? I think he hasn't. No. Goes back for a weapon to run away and save.
I would have had it with the kit, and they just run out of time in that situation. So try and hold on to the scout, hold it into the next round. Can't really force buy again there for the City side. And for BP5, they play it really well in that 3v2. They know they're tagged up so heavy, so just no one peek. Just waste as much time as possible. Wisla, they'll be disappointed because they did so well in terms of the damage in that round.
They did. They really did. BP5 be limited on the buy state as a result of that. A couple Mac 10s coming into this next one. Might assume the Wisla are on the eco around themselves, but they have also force bought back into this third. We'll try and dish out some more worth here against BP5. Scout shots again ringing out, doing decent damage so far for the CTs. And again, tags up on Fleeve and Aaron will keep them a little bit limited, but again, very early, there's no casualties.
That's an uncharacteristic buy here from Wisla. They just realised themselves, well, we dealt with everyone in that last round. Yeah, it's a risk. If it pays off, it's going to pay off in a big way. And Sparrow just jiggle peeking. Util going down, so he'll put the incendiary in and just try to halt it. Minute 10 on the clock, and even dealing with Aaron as that smoke blooms.
A pick found. Kill for Sparrow. Flying off on the right foot here again for the CT side. Can they maintain that foot forward? Can they maintain their scenario here? Time is still pretty short for Wisla. Flashing forward. Smoke comes in a little bit. Awkward timing. VHR can at least get the trade. McCrory responds to him in a 3-on-3.
Still not the best of positions for Wisla to try and get this retake on. Everyone coming out from CT spawn. And with the AK from Corey out in new box, without the util to try and force him into the open, they could just hold their lines.
Goofy pressing forward here. MG to wrap the corner. Looks for Flea. Looks for Coolio. Nice spray. Easy pickings. Corey with the AK still holds onto a frag. In a 1v3 clutch scenario. Gets his triple. Flashbangs to the right. The swing back to the left. Seeing Jedka catches each individual fight and wins them all to maintain 3 for BP5.
Great stuff in from Corey, and he's definitely been one of the MVP performers out from the Hungarians. Another great round from him. And when you think about the early damage that came through, Sparrow just tried to fall back out to safety. 1-for-1 trade for PHR in first oranges. The flash over the top for Goofy, giving them that 3v1 advantage, and then Corey just isolating these fights, wasting time, getting that last tap forward. And for BP5, they've been flawless.
They have indeed. Aaron Spray gets Jedka next up with the T-side line nades involved for Wisla. They're going to try and suppress their 4 versus 4 early with a ton of damage being done to the CT side. Marcos on 2 HP and Corey hunting for Goofy, sees him, gets his kill.
Corey's playing well and just start working with that. Sparrow, last player to really defend out for the long position. Corey with another dome straight to the head. This is looking fantastic for the T's.
And Marcos was the only player to defend here on the site. SMG, such low HP, it's not going to happen. It's easy pickings for BP5. 4-0 to the start. This is solid, absolutely solid from them. And it seems like despite the massive tech pause, despite the massive gap between the maps, they haven't missed a beat since their Mirage map.
And that is something that is difficult to imagine how sort of mentality changes. But you are right. It seems that it's locked on and they are really feeling like they're pushing themselves forward. They're playing some good CS on this T side. Wisla, very slow to get started. They've got some util to work with on this eco. Nade's going down to that second mid position. Okay, first one getting evaded fairly. The second one actually being quite chunky.
Doesn't stop the rushing from BP5, and neither will the Deagle. The Jedka out of the apartments. He could find a flank angle with a crossfire. With his teammates on site, and Marcos gets 2 frags. Deagles are striking in a 1 versus 5 now for Aaron. And this half-by round looks to go well enough for a round for Wisla.
Jeez, what is going on there? Wisla just being able to pull so many distractions. That first pick out from the apartments, being able to get them to round the corner, and just the crossfire being set. Goofy, Jedka finding kills. Marcos with a couple with the P250 out of all weapons, even makes it a triple. How many AKs they get? 3. That Mac 10, geez, they'll be so happy with what they saved into that. And for BP5, thinking about how well they've done so far, you don't expect rounds like that to be lost.
Yeah, they just went full charge up, and Wisla were able to deal with it. The damage being done initially by the HEs and such, converting into pistol kills. As I mentioned before, they didn't stop thanks to those HEs. They didn't rethink their strategy. Had they slowed it down, maybe they could have pulled in Wisla for a loop. As it stands, they're first on the board of the Polish side, and it's very similar to how things started off the way Mirage went. Force Invest, of course, will come forward. Another HE landing pretty nice to the center of mass, and the first kill going the way of PHR.
A missed shot coming through from Fleeve, and, well, you can't really be affording that when you go for a dry peak, because if you don't have the util, if you don't have the support, you've got to be hitting that shot instantly. Just not quite coming through. And Marcos even being able to open up, getting aggressive down from the brackets position.
Molotovs continue in. Sparrow a swing back with the MAC-10 to catch some presence, hoping to catch some kills. Little being gained from this. 60 seconds remain. Walk-in is possible. Very plausible here from the T side. Sparrow set. Turned away from. AK wins his fight. Great kill.
Now, awful timing for Wisla. They start rotating players back out to spawn. Resmoke comes down to top Banana. That might not stop them at all. They're going to charge through it.
A flashback for Badito blinds up his own teammate, though. Groovy's allowed 2 kills, makes it a triple to hold down the defense of the B site.
That's sometimes the risk, isn't it? If you resmoke top Banana and you run through it, if you don't have the utility on straight away, or you're not getting that immediate entry, you're going to get mopped, and Goofy just gets an easy triple on the other side of that smoke. Now running double orbs coming through from Marcos and Spiro. A slow start coming through from Wisla. They've answered back in a big way.
AKs and AWPs out for the CT side, not for BP5. A straight eco in as Wisla grabbed all the main T-side weapons and have such an abundance of firepower. Information gained by Sparrow as well, seeing those players jump face. They probably got the information towards him. I don't think PHR is ahead of the broken wall. Whether or not he is, he's still going to be part of the crossfire here in Banana as the CT set themselves up over in the A site.
They just try and bait, a jiggle, jump over, whatever it might be. Just don't drop the bomb is going to be the main one, because if that bomb just gets dropped in a sightline to Banana, the round is pretty much over from there, even though it is only Glocks. Might try some sort of waterfall, just see if they can get 1 or 2 picks.
Charge up through Banana, no flash to force the AWP off angle. The concern is more going to be the AK than it is the AWP. Shot for Sparrow, PHR gets his kill together, or they would have find a crack angle to support him. Not quite make it his triple. Eventually taps forward with the pistol and does get a triple involved. Lulu's won AK for it. The CTs don't want to opt to go ahead and get it, despite the fact they've got a lot of money, so they could have afforded to sacrifice the AWP. Bring their third in for Wisla. Krakow. Eco over for BP5. Now's their chance to strike back with guns.
Just start striking with confidence, being able to build up the deficit and try and see if they can tie up the scoreline at 4-4. The Spiro and PHR having a fairly easy time in Banana into the last. It will be difficult this time around, and for Aaron, might actually see some aggression coming forward, some early nades, and Goofy thinking about moving forward in brackets.
Waiting to catch him, utility thrown out. Coolio thinking he was safe there at the brackets entrance, but he wasn't. No one watching from mid, and Wisla can exploit that, punish the aggression of the T-side line. Haven't dealt with a player in apps. I'm happy to sit and wait.
And this is what you can expect from a team that don't play Inferno very often, is a lot of holes being opened up. And right there, you can see Marcos looking down mid, allowing that crossfire to be set out from the B site itself. Spiro's going to miss one of those AWP picks, and now they can just start running forward.
Smoked across, and soon the area suppressing for the time being on the BP5 side. A counter smoke involved with the CT line. Gap there to work with for Aaron, though. Resmoke onto the CT side there from Goofy. One man over towards the coffins. Boost up for Corey. Does find Jedka. Knows that Goofy's somewhere in the midst of that smoke. Can't find the kill shot and can only maintain a single man advantage.
That bomb's going to go A. You'd have to expect. So there's already a walkout coming through from Fleeve. They know that A side's very open. Even though they took B and they were able to get a lot of map control, they still left that bomb into the T-spawn position, and now they're even just continuing to get the fights. That was a really well-played round for BP5 to hear the rotations, to get them to over-rotate to B, realize that Fleeve, okay, A side's completely open, we're going to bring that bomb back, and the B players, they're just pulling distraction, aren't they? And indeed, they actually just continue doing damage.
We did expect this one to be a bit more of a less tactical map, a bit of a slogfest, if you will. And right now, the rounds are won and lost on the basis of the kills. BP5 have come up slightly better than Wisla as of right now. Nades on, damage being done again towards Sparrow. Bullets flying his way is forcing him out of position. 36 HP. That's an easy kill for BP5 to take.
You'd have to imagine so. Being able to just flash him off angle, try and force him deeper and deeper. And Goofy's going to rotate out to the B defense to have 3 there in total.
Utility in, the boost up. Gonna look over into the B site. Flashes and Molotovs as the T's press the issue. Flashes go over to enable the CT presence. VHR watching. Falling away. Getting back over to that A play. 3-man stack, but 4 players up in banana for the T's.
It's very silent for BP5. Haven't heard anything for the last 30 seconds or so. And even being able to take top of banana dry, not needing a molly out for the sandbags or flashes over the top. And now both of the orbs are playing out on A, meaning M4s have got to defend at B.
Continuous watching here from VHR. I'll look for a shoulder bait, try and body block that smoke, which I think was successfully done. Gap to the right-hand side and to the left, which allows him to peek up here, get a kill of his own. Goofy's found 2. Trades are involved, tags are up against the CT side. But a 4-on-2 advantage. 2 players to line up for PHR to make it a triple. The timing was perfect. The round is Wisla's.
And even in that situation, they don't have the right read there for Wisla. Yes, they've got a rotation coming through from Spiro and CT Spawn. It comes down to the B defenders, and at least for Goofy, getting 2 kills on that boost up from Nubox, and PHR just having the crossfire was absolutely everything. 2 kills even lining up for him. It's a gift to end off the round and get them up to 4. BP5 on the buyback doesn't look that great.
And rebuy, of course, on for BP5. AK's Mac 10s trying to see if they can force the issue, deny Wisla from getting us back to evens, but that might be an eventuality here. The M4, the AWP crossfire, still finding a 2-for-1 trade and almost catching Marcos. Goofy got to come in from Boiler to support tanks and nade. 3-on-3 as he has dropped that bomb for now. Will it maintain his position? Corey on alert could also get caught off.
Oh, they're making so much noise. It's still so fast coming through from Fleeve. And now Marcos, well, they definitely know where that scope is. They've been able to lose one of the picks over at the B side, so they might just try and overwhelm Marcos on A.
Fleeve continuing to walk up here. AWP in for Marcos. Sees him, catches him, drops that bomb. And now Bedito, all that remains. The footstep was heard coming out of the apartments, but the AWP has not reacted to it. Clean up from mid. Sparrow on his rotation. Sees the man, captures vision, but doesn't catch a tag. Petito with a flashbang back over, trying to look out towards that Mexi position. Grab that bomb, bait in the AWP. Still not a shot missed out from Marcos. They can cross the site. It can get planted. He wants to get this kill on Sparrow, though.
It all just comes down to the timing on the peek out from bedroom. Not seeing anything. Back out to the apartment. Sparrow's got a great advantage. Seen him now. This is going to be an easy kill coming through for the in-game leader. Tap coming forward. And that's the 5th round being tied up. Honestly, Marcos, I don't know how he's done that. He is running away from Moto out to long. That should be an easy kill. You're working with the sound cues. You know where he is. And he still finds the connection to drop that bomb. That is an unbelievable shot to hit.
You highlighted Marcos as an AWPer to watch. I'm showing that for a good reason right there in that particular round. It was only 1 kill, but a very difficult kill and one that had massive ramifications for the rest of the round. And now he's up against Eco, where the kills can come in easy for all rifles. 2 kills. Marcos and Sparrow starting off. Fleeve, Deagle spamming. Doesn't get forced away by the flames. He did catch Sparrow, though, so there's that.
AWP slightly wider on this long angle. Does get baited by Aaron. And for BP5, they just want more repeaks. They want the CTs to keep fighting for this control. Fleeve could drop the bomb at bottom banana.
Caught there by PHR. And a spray eventually catches him. The last bullet of the magazine directly to the brain. Julio and Aaron. Last 2 players left on the A site. Gonna try to see if they can work into some exit frags. Goofy's there to receive on Aaron. Get his kill, Coolio. Last man standing in a 1 versus 4 here. In this round, going about as well as Ecos do go. Wisla up against the rifles in the next one for BP5. This will be a 6th for the CT side.
I am worried about quiet individuals for BP5. 1 kill for Pedito, 2 for Coolio. Yeah, they're not exactly star players, and it's been Corey being the most influential player for this team over the course of the best of 3. It's just that when you go into a map that isn't that favourable for you, it's map 3 of the best of 3, you need individuals to show up, and so far, we haven't quite seen that from them on this first half.
All-important recovery there for the CT side, not to take any more damage back on those pistols. BP5. Smokes on. Try to get aggressive. Look at how far Goofy is going to go against Corey. Frag found early. So much presence gained by the CTs. Badito will try counteractive. Flea will get that trade involved. Bit overly aggressive from the CT forces, but they have gained a 4-on-4 with HP advantage.
Oh, I've never seen that before. So they put the incendiary down bottom banana, and rather than just rushing behind it, they put a smoke in, which allows a one-way to get into Mexi for Goofy to find that opening kill. Unfortunately, he gets traded back so quickly. Yeah, Fleeve is down to 34, so damage has been done. Espero has not been baited out from this banana position just yet.
Bash in, Sparrow going to get caught blinded. Perfect timing on a peek of the C-side member. Not ringing out a little bit too late for Sparrow. Instantaneous cross, and now the workout from Aaron will come in towards the apartment, trying to make his way in towards that A site. Jedka's one of the 2 players on the crossfire here, alongside PHR, and might be enough to deal with the Budapest 5.
I've got to wonder how they can even deal with the AWP as well. Incendiary going down out to the short position, just trying to slow the T's. They're going to come down long side.
What a great flashbang to force that AWP off position here. They're really suffering with the big green gun. Spray through the AK. Not catching damage or kill on Marcos. They expect these players to be pretty close. So Respoke on a bit of a gap to work with. Allows Aaron to find Jedka. Now it's all left to PHR on the back of the site. And Aaron opens up against him as well. 4v2 for the double AWP setup. And they're already saving.
Yeah, that gap in the moto smoke just gives such an advantage forward for Aaron to make that aggressive move and not feel like he's just going to get pincered in. And Budapest 5 just being able to tie up the scoreline, and that was probably one of the best rounds we've seen from them in a little while. In terms of the flash assists and the way they keep forcing the CTs off the angles, they did a very good job in doing so.
We've got 6 apiece as a result of that. Wisla struggling a little bit still on the CT side, despite the confident plays, despite the fact that he probably should have been able to see some decency coming in from them. Still have yet to see that confidence that we saw from that first map up for these boys. BP5 holding their own. There's a lack of cash here for the CTs. I imagine that Marcos could probably drop, but only for one of Goofy or Jedka. Tactical timeout to decide who.
It's nice to see tacticals. Haven't seen a crazy amount of them over the course of this best of 3. And for Wisla, just try to keep that pressure on, try to keep the lead and at least the advantage in their favour. Jedka has been quiet over towards the apartment side. Hasn't had a crazy amount of success playing out on A, so could see some sort of change in terms of where he's been positioned for. 6-6, and I guess we are sort of hoping that it goes down in the same sort of way that Mirage did, where it goes down to the wire and it comes to be quite a close affair on map 3.
Second tactical call in a row here for Wisla. Decisions, things to be made. What is the game plan? I imagine they probably will buy around these AWPs again with drop weapons and all. Limiting factors might become a problem. BP5. Chance to take the lead here, and if they can do so, then that could well be a big leg up here in this map. But again, both teams don't play it. BP5 might be relying heavily on that CT side to get themselves with a decent basis here. They're doing well so far to keep pace with Wisla. Another timeout? And this might be a technical timeout here from Wisla. I'm not 100% certain.
Yeah, it's got to transition to that at some point. I can see as well in the coach slot, Lord, ex-player been around for a very long time. You think about some of the coaching roles he's had with some of the teams he's followed. Spiro in G2, when they were CSGO Lounge, when they were Kingwin, played with, or at least coached with, when there was Taz and Neo on sort of Aristocracy and RC. Been here at Wisla since early 2020. A long time. I've got to wonder. Was he
part of the Golden Five?
Lord, I believe he was, because it was him. Luz? Is that? Oh, I might be getting that wrong. But I'm pretty sure he was.
They,
or at least when they were Pentagram, I think is the team name they were under.
Yeah, because they were like a few different teams, weren't they? Pentagram, MYM, actually, I should say. They had ESC as well towards the later end.
Yeah.
Either way, Lord's still a Polish legend of his own right, so he deserves his plaudits here. A hell of an experienced player, regardless. Wisla could be able to utilize in great effect. Right now, they are struggling against BP5, and it would be a dire upset if they were able to lose here to the BP5 camp again, considering what this map is, considering the circumstances that we have. Being informed as well, by the way, that the tech issues for Wisla is on Jedka's side. Definitely want to see if they can fix it up for him, because, I mean, he's currently at the bottom of the board right now for the Wisla camp.
Hopefully we don't need to get into a stand-in situation for Wisla, and that we keep all players still in server and get them going again. Jedka, he's another guy as well that didn't really have a lot of experience before joining them. I guess it is similar to kind of Goofy in that sort of sense, that he played on XCOM and came forward to play for Wisla and been here for about 18 months, about there. Over the course of the last even 8 or 9 months, pretty much this whole year, we've seen a lot of lineup changes coming through from Wisla.
Yeah, they have been chopping and changing players left, right, and centre. Like, you can think back to that big lineup that they had at the end of 2020, and how many elements of that have really left.
Yep.
Obviously, the most famous example we can think of is Hades.
For sure.
Who's currently playing for Ents, and that probably was arguably the star player of this side back then. The roles have changed. Things have had to swap out. Knowing that much here for Wisla. Again, a lot of pressure on those elements that have remained, and still a level of achievement that the organisation wants to find, I guess. Probably some expectations for how this team can live up to those previous squads.
Yeah, of course, changes are normally only for the better, or sometimes it's because a better offer comes around. So, yeah, we'll have to see how Wisla sort of fight with this. I mean, even for PHR, the newest addition in for this team hasn't been here very long at all. Came in on the 10th of August, so what's that, just over a month ago? Just trying to see if they can get all the pieces together, get the brains of PHR and Spiro on the same page. Now, these double AWPs, I tell you, they've been loving double AWPs, haven't they? There's some teams out there that, I guess, map dependent. They do enjoy going for it. Fiend, another team that's playing in the International Cup, do love double AWPs, and actually gets floated around from quite a few players on that team. Over the course of Overpass, Mirage, and even on Inferno, this is probably like the 10th, 11th time we've seen a double AWP set up in an individual round. Comes out all the time.
Yeah, I mean, they saved it in the previous few. They've wanted the double AWPs. They've liked the double AWPs so far in this map up. Hasn't had the impact that the double AWPs hope to have. Can that change? We'll can only find out as time rolls on. Getting those bites together now. I think Wisla are ready to go here. Hopefully the issues for Jedka do not sustain from here on out. FAMAS will be in for PHR, so there was one limiting factor here for Wisla. They still get the bite together in most automatics. 3 defuse kits. Utility should also be fine. And again, double AWPs from Marcos and Sparrow. One player playing over towards the A site. The second man going to take first contact in a banana. Marcos looking down towards mid to try to catch off Corey. Has missed his window. Nades on. Damage has been done.
I haven't seen a massive amount of utility damage down in this banana portion. Sparrow waiting for a jump spot over from the logs or any kind of boost attempt. He's there by himself, doesn't have a massive amount of support. Oh, it looks away, it looks back in. Easy shot to come out.
Great kill. Great start. Anything more for him? Anything more for the A-side players, actually, is where the focus is about to turn here for Wisla. BP5 working in their brackets and at the apartments, seeing some nades and further damage being sustained. It's minimal amounts of chip damage done by the HEs. Still something here against the T's. It's still going to keep them suppressed.
Yeah, just holding on to that man advantage. I like that Marcos hasn't gone too aggressive. He's done a couple of times where he's pushed up to Arch or even further around long side to look into brackets and just knows 5v4, don't need to overextend. Resmoke goes down, can have a teammate to back him up. And even relocating to Arch, he's scoped in case there is a jiggle, in case there is some sort of peak.
Base around for the... Oh, perfect timing against that run. Can't quite win out against Fleeve. So there will be a trade involved for Budapest 5. But still a 4 versus 3 that favours Wisla Krakow. 30 seconds remaining. Benito flashing his way back out as Fleeve can catch at least 1 kill back on PHR. So suddenly the man advantage goes back to evens. And B-site is completely isolated. Only one man there in Sparrow. Held to the back corner. Smokes up the suppressor. He's got to try to deal with these players coming in from Banana. His teammates closing into the back over towards mid. They've missed their window, so it's all on Sparrow to hold up against him. Tag up against the first player. Swing back to the second. Benito gets the kill for it. The bomb barely goes down. Jenka could deny. Jenka could deny. He's done it. Spray on 2 individuals. And Vista's backstab becomes the winning element for the round.
It's just overcomplicating things there. Yeah, it's a great pick out from CT. Budapest 5 did well to get that CT on rotation. You get into a position, though, the time is just way too low for them to go out to the B side. They don't have the information. They finally deal with the backside player. They think, right, we'll get to the bomb down. And how quickly those rotations come in from Banana, just overcomplicating things when they didn't need to at all.
And that AWP continues to fire away from Marcos. Great accurate shots to the heads. Kill on Corey. Easy pickings here for Wisla. Of course, force invest for BP5. They're working into that banana position. Flashing their way on as the T's press forward. Continue their campaign into the B site.
Retaking nades for PHR to go down to that top banana position in terms of a resmoke. BP5 have never really had to fight for this banana position, and they've been quite silent in their take.
Giving away as little information as is possible. Benito making his way up. Smoke down across. Body block on some smoke. Sparrow can come up with a kill back. Benito responds towards PHR. Man advantage maintained by the CT side, and they will get driven away. Bomb can go down, but Benito loses that fight to Sparrow. A double up for him. Fleeve responds. Still advantage now to making it 2. Coolio. A 1v3 clutch going to peek in against Marcos will be a bad idea. Got to deal with him and Goofy. Spray through Goofy. Counteracts, and it will be a half for Wisla.
And they're playing with a fair bit of confidence. For Spiro, does he really need to make that play of getting aggressive through the molly and construction? Not necessarily. They've still got the man advantage. So he's thinking to himself, okay, let's just continue to put pressure on, make it uncomfortable for them to get that bomb plant in. Benito being able to get the entry kill to PHR. It was this frag right here. You can't really expect the CT going to push forward with that molly.
Not much that they could have done in general off the back of that frag as well. Down to a 1v3 for Coolio that you can expect would go well enough for Vista's retake. And indeed, an 8-6 single round could still separate these two teams going into the second half. But Vista will be looking towards that CT victory and feeling hungry for a little bit more. BP5 on the guns one more time. Up into the mid position. Shot out for Sparrow. Finds Corey. The rest of the players are in banana.
Just consistency is being found now by the AWPs. Both of them hitting shots and very dry. H even up to the top of banana. Decent chip damage down into Benito.
Molotov burning Fleeve as well. The first man out is Coolio. Unscathed for the most part. Flashing his way in as Marcos keeps his eyes set. Goofy, look at his backstab. They try a rotation and he's going to cut it off and at least dish out a kill or damage and get the information back for his teammates. For now, the stack is involved. Players checking all their bases. Still being very careful on this for BP5. They've got time to work with.
I don't know how they can win that round. This is such a perfect read coming through for Wisla. 3 on B, light utility for the D side. They need to somehow force out mistakes. And for Wisla, they're just not peeking. They don't need to.
Or peek in. Did he see him? No, he didn't. Oh, Marcos has an inkling. Bedito has one too. Gets the headshot. Smoked across. Jedka looking to spray together. Bedito actually wins out another kill through smoke. Third man in the back over at Dartney. Insigne has missed out. Goofy comes up with 2 frags back of his own accord. The AWP keeps fighting, but he's the last man standing. Aaron's fallen, and Sparrow will win the AWP v AWP battle. 9-6 for Wisla as they close out the half on a high.
Even for Bedito, he gets a couple of kills on an entry, does the best work he can, doesn't have the information on any more than that. What a start this was for BP5. It seemed that there was a lot of energy coming forward from them. They were finding some good form, and it got to a point that for Wisla, when those rifles started coming in, they just put more and more pressure on them.
And pressure is ultimately what got back towards that BP5 camp. Wisla eventually dished out the damage, eventually found their kills, eventually found their rounds. The thing as well from the word go, it might have been a solid start for the BP5 camp, but Wisla kept the pressure up. Even in those clutch situations, in those forced by rounds. High potential involved here going in towards that T-side half, but that is the big question. Is the CT side switch going to be enough for BP5 to get back control?
I don't think it is, because even when you compare the pair of how things started off, they were up 4-0, probably should have been 5-0 because they lost that eco, and then since then, when the rifles started coming forward, consistent elements just weren't quite being provided. They got individual rounds, they were getting mopped up, there were so many AKs on that CT basis, the double orbs were constantly finding form, and individuals, Coolio and Bedito, just quiet in that first half.
You could say the same thing about certain players of Wisla, though. Jedka was also quiet himself. I want to see some players step up to the mark and really make the difference for those teams, and of course those will be the players you'll be looking at. BP5 initially were looking like they hadn't missed a beat, but now things are starting to look a bit more contentious, and Krakow could find themselves in with a pistol and then conversions to a 12-6. And that might be disastrous for BP5 to lose out upon. They don't really want to lose this map. Last one of the series, and they could be in trouble.
They could be. And the run of form, 7 out of the past 9 rounds being won by that Wisla side. Aaron having some decent moments himself. And both in-game leaders have actually proved individually that they're up to decent par. Marcos with the AWP was just a joy to watch. And even with some of these rounds, they got close, they got competitive. Just BP5 not quite having that finesse in terms of the execution. Wisla looking to see if they could charge ahead going into that second half with a 9-6 lead. It's a decent portion for them to work with.
And that's the key thing. 3 rounds is decent. Because it can set up for even more for Wisla. A pistol victory could be everything to them as we get into said pistol round. Glocks out, Util in on Jacob and Sparrow. Fuse over on Coolio with straight pistols and Kevlar across the rest of BP5. 2 players into Banana initially will be Marcos and Goofy to try and lead the entries, trying to get that opener. And I hope that BP5 push it, but it's passive contact from Coolio.
You'd have to imagine that for him, he can't really extend. He's the one with the kit and the smoke. Take the contact and just play the 5v5 retake.
Smoke's on. Counter back for Coolio, going to suppress them, try and stop them from getting into construction. As he's going to play this out, Goofy jump faces and actually reads it well, but Coolio wins that fight. Headshot involved, the B site's open, though the bomb plant will be secure, and they're going to converge in upon him. 2 players out of here, backs a turn, he repositions back behind the sandbags, USP course on a reload though, PHR can capitalise, get that frag back as the rest of the CTs make their way in. PHR and Marcos hold themselves together, Bedito and Fleeve, last couple of players left, and Fleeve can't really hold up against them, missing all the bullets, missing all the chances, and Wisla getting all the kills.
That round started off pretty poorly for Wisla. They should have been able to read that as soon as that smoke goes down to construction to not peek forward of it. They went for the lurk smoke on the site and the rat play to try and get into construction and clear it out. Instead, they lose that opening fight and then they get into a position where they are kind of stuck. They're all trapped in construction. They need to take a lot of fights, and thank goodness they've got some decent crossfires set, because that was very chaotic.
All important. And again, that pistol that can convert into a few more rounds here for Wisla. Matt 10 and a Goofy will start to get them set up on that track. Aaron a full first, easy $600 frag. Bedito, 5-7 caught at the end of the smoke as well, and that's B site completely open.
That's what I was talking about very early on, is how much missed util are we going to see? What is happening there with that top banana smoke? There's just a massive gap in the right-hand side, and any time a T-side see that, they're just going to walk through it, and they're just going to try and catch you off, because you don't know that there's a gap, but they do. And this force buy just being dealt with extremely effectively. Wisla going to get up to 11. And for BP5, it feels like all of the momentum and the confidence for that 4-0 start has disappeared, not just now, just disappeared for a while.
Yeah. Another frag for the MAC-10. 3 for Goofy. Bedka going to hunt for his 2k against Coolio. Nades on. Perfect nades. Taps. Deagle loses to Goofy, not to Jedka. 4 kills to the MAC-10 though. Plenty of cash gain. 11 to the board of Wisla. That was kind of a force buy involved for BP5, so not a lot of cash that they can rebuy back into the next round with. It's got to be a full eco where the MAC-10s could run even further, Riot.
You'd have to imagine so. Wisla just wanting to start steaming ahead. BP5 maybe start second-guessing themselves on the way that they played this veto process. Nades going up towards that top of mid. And you'd have to imagine with the slight upgrades the CTs have, that they're not going to find much going into this next.
Nades on, Badito, Incendiary's out. Goofy, MAC-10, wraps the corner, gets Aaron. Great kill. Checking back his sandbags, checking out to the cross position of Badito caught next. 5 versus 3. And again, Goofy, easy pickings to open up the B site. Body blocks the smoke, unfortunately, but will still jump past it and detect no CT players. Corey, they're trying to look for Sparrow or the players out towards mid. The bomb's yet to commit, but it should do soon because, again, they've gained the B site.
That MAC-10 just being a laser out in the B entries. Looking for more. Goofy might even be able to find another pick in CT. Spiro's having difficult time winning this fight out into brackets, and Coolio's going to actually deal with the first. Spiro with the deagle. Can't give us another one, mate. Oh, goes the other way.
Well, they gave you a deagle, but you know,
yeah,
not the one that you, not the way that you expected it to go. AKs can probably dish out the rest of the damage and deal with Coolio and Fleeve. Ideally, not to get that rifle that they dropped on their hands. I think Spiro had a Galil. MAC-10 won't mean much towards the T side, though, so they can let that sacrifice. Coolio will drop and Fleeve well out of position and well out of the round.
I almost want him to go for something here. Just see if he could find another one of these exit kills, recover a rifle towards the bottom of Banana. Rather than just trying to hold on to the deagle itself. Wisla getting up to 12. They take some casualties when it comes to the eco buy-up.
Nothing detrimental to the economy state, though. Should be able to build it pretty well here. Unless this deagle gets another frag. And it doesn't, so no worries. For the rest of your days. 12-6. The days for Budapest 5 may be numbered, though, in this matchup. 4 rounds to go for Wisla. Still yet to see a CT round here from the Hungarian squad. This gun round coming out for them, however, could be their first chance to strike.
I know that this has been a whole day where we've had some extended pauses and there's been a couple of tacticals. The technicals, I should say. Where are the tacticals in this position for BP5 to think that they've really just started losing it completely, winning only 2 out of the past 14 rounds? Fleeve at least starts. It's an opening man advantage, some sort of life in him.
Kill comes in, Sparrow goes down. Molotov's out, gonna miss in. Shots from Fleeve with the AWP continues. Incendiary's back as Corey jump faces, seeing the AWP at the T-side line. Gonna give him a second chance. Look for even more info. Surely at this point you spoke down the gap and retreat away. He wastes a bit more time with his efforts. But eventually puts that smoke up and falls back to the cross.
They've got a rotation coming through from Aaron out in CT. Do they just pop through the smoke itself? Corey is still aggressing, getting very far forward. He's got to wait for his teammate.
And there comes Jedka, finally finding the frag. Now left towards Aaron in the back of the site over at New Box. M4 waiting, flashes in, smokes down. Badito, Incendiary set, will try to stop him. The Molotov's going to continue alongside this swing. Outspray through, Goofy gets the kill. Man advantage down for the T side. Badito can't change that as Goofy makes it a double. His B entries, whether they be on AKs or MAC-10s, have been flawless so far for the T side.
Now, he's had an unbelievable performance on Inferno, and this T side is really where he started coming into his own. I have a look at that setup, though, for the CT side. First of all, the flash is late from Aaron, and for Corey, is that really necessary? He doesn't have the support, doesn't have a teammate close on contact. It looks like desperation, and I can understand why BP5 are making some of these risks, because they know the kind of position they're in. At the same time, though, you have to calculate the risks, and making plays like that, you're going to get caught off, and you're going to get punished.
That leaves us on 13 for Wisla. BP5 really struggling now. We wondered if the CT switch was going to be enough to get them back on track and get them back in the game, but that's not happened. Not as of right now. Their first gun round has gone awry. The money might not be there for them for another investment. They saved a couple of rifles, so it could be plausible. And yeah, they will justify it. But still, a FAMAS and an SMG to bolster up the 2 and 4s and an AWP. Needs to be the brilliant round here from the CT side.
You'd have to imagine so. Nade going down for the bottom banana early on does some decent chip damage onto Marcos and Spiro. BP5 just trying to go for a couple of those wall bangs in from the broken wall position. And Corey just showing some sort of presence out from the apartments itself. Very passive from Wisla on the default.
Something for a frag on an aggressive CT player, hoping that someone swings out. See, that AWP in particular was placed for Marcos. Right back on Badito. Fire through that smoke will come in as Marcos can. Isolate a kill back over on short. Kill found on Corey. Advantage game for Wisla.
And when you think about the weapons they've got here on the A side, they've got a FAMAS and an MP9 on A, and an M4 and an AWP on B, and it's a B fake. It's just going to draw the attention. Marcos gets another pick with the AWP.
You find Coolio as well, perhaps. He's looking back to the back of the site and not on towards this pit position. Now he has struck towards the bomb carrier. That could be enough to draw their attention. Indeed, Jedka will get the trade responsive. And with that kill, it leaves it to the 2 players on the B site who've got no choice but to save.
And I ain't being funny. I don't know what happened in that technical timeout for Jedka, because he was, what, 3 and 8 at one point? Since the T side has come through, he has really stepped up.
Imagine there might have been some tech problems that were causing him to... well, not
it could have been.
Well he should have been.
Yeah.
It's speculation for me. I don't have the details. But you are right. It's a curious little set of coincidences. Jump face, Aaron looking for Goofy. Continuous fire coming in for him. Trying to see if we can get some exit frags. But needs to hold on to the rifle first and foremost because there's just nothing. There's nothing for BP5 to work with here. Lost bonus will be the lot. They're both suppressed as Sparrow will end up falling. AWP pick does find another good kill. Okay, so they do keep their rifles, make it an expensive chase for Wisla. The money's there for the T side though. They could afford to do that.
Yeah, and it's not, any excuses or anything. It's just Jedka realizing, okay, haven't performed very well in this first half. Time to turn it up a notch and time to be able to provide assistance, in which he has done very proficiently. 9 kills and 10 deaths. It doesn't look all that good on paper, but when you compare the pair, it does. Wisla just charging ahead, and BP5 so disappointing, because really when you saw the start of 4-0 you thought, okay, this is going to go down to the wire, this could be quite competitive. Wisla have just been all over them this map.
Yeah, it is a shame. But as we mentioned before, we're looking at Wisla as being the favourites. Now Sparrow wants his hand at getting the B entries. He let it get the Goofy have too much fun, I feel like. Second player also seen back at New Box. Sparrow's going to go hunting for him. Kill found easy, and they're just capitulating now. I think this is over, Dwag.
Yeah, I'm with you there. That was a very simple take of the B site, and it wasn't as if Spiro even had players with him. He pretty much just did that by himself. Double entry onto Petito and for Aaron, and, well, BP5 just holding onto their weapons. You'd have to imagine for Wisla, go hunting again. Why
not? They got money. They got money, and they can remove so much from play for BP5. They're going to be on the force bind in the next round regardless. The question is, what are they going to have? 2 AWPs and an M4 and whatever they can afford together, or whatever they can afford off the back of just losing everything? They aren't going to go too aggressive with this. They're not going to extend out towards CT in particular. They have got mid-presence. Only a few rounds. BP5 down on Bisla's match points. 9 match points for them to work with. The rebuy got to come in now. They have saved those weapons, so it will look confident. But it's got to be victorious.
They just need to pull something out of the hat. And I wouldn't mind just seeing hyper-aggression, just push down mid, push down banana, tried something that you haven't tried before and hope to catch Wisla off guard. BP5 have just been wrecked in this third map of Inferno. They have not had an easy time at all, and this is their chance to get some survival rounds forward.
Survival rounds unlikely to be a major comeback here. It's going to have to be so unbelievably good for them to make it happen. And shot of Fleeve will start things off on the right foot. PHR gets caught. He's coming back in towards Apps to try to deal with the players that are there as well.
Yeah, looking to see if he can make it a 5-on-3. Flash over the top will bait out the Orpus. They'll know that he has been moving about. And knowing that there can't possibly be a double AWP setup coming through for the city side, that there won't be one on B at all. Corey even catching Spiro with a walkout.
That burst of the AKs. In the area on Fleeve, going to try fall away. Back over on Jedka's part. Time begins to run short on Wisla, losing those 2 casualties. We're working with 35 seconds on the clock here. The AWP looks in, leans out, hopes to catch something, but still sees nothing. The bomb just pushes up towards the A side. It's going to be an alert play for the AWP.
You've got to wonder how much of a fake they can really pull, and if they could over-rotate another one of these CTs. Coolio is in such a great position to catch them as they run out from the apartments.
Jackie gets caught, Coolio with the kill, 10 seconds. Marcos can't get Aaron, but now the bombs rotate out of the apartments, and the AWP falls. The AK is left to save. Keep that weapon away from the CT side. Disallow any chance they can get some headshots in. Still grab at least 1 AK and an AWP on a second player. The BP5 will stay alive for now.
It's a good call to just hold on to the AK. Money's not a problem. It's just that, do you really want to gift another AK up to the city side? Probably not at all. They could have even had the chance of cancelling that 3v5 and not even allowing that double AWP to be picked up by the CT basis. And knowing there wouldn't have been money for them to afford it going into the next. 7 on the board for BP5. They broke the streak of 9 in a row for Wisla.
The opportunities abound now. Obviously, how far can this opportunity really extend itself? Again, realistically, we should be looking at Wisla still taking a victory in the next couple of rounds. But for now, BP5 are finding the opening kills. They're finding the starts in these rounds here. Or picked back up by Spero. Marcos falling first to the hands of Fleeve.
It all just comes down now of being able to bait the CTs forward, taking this bracket's control. There is still one out to that long cubby corner of Corey. Goofy just hoping for an aggressive peek. The AWP misses the chance and Goofy capitalizes.
4-on-4 regain. Molotov back towards Cut B. Corey's going to stand and fight and lose. All left to the man out towards Pit. Coolio taking damage. Nade at 6 points of health, and it's an easy picking up for Goofy. Aaron can respond to a 3v3, make it actually 2v2. The bomb can go down as well. Tags up against the bomb carrier and everything. They're doing so much on the CT side.
Goofy's just waiting for a push through that smoke. They're going to boost up over the top of it. Both of the T's have got out to the pit position.
Bombs down over towards the default box. A swing out above that smoke. Bodito trying his best to look for T-side presence. The smoke's going to start to clear. Give an angle, but a shot that does not connect. He's gotten so close towards him. So looking for the wall bangs as well. Counter smoke involved. Utility out for the T-side players to see. I think Goofy got spotted on that jump face as well. It's in the area. He's not extending that far out towards Graveyard instead. Kill for one man. Sees the second, and Goofy's going to close it with a victory for Wisla on map 3 and a 2-1 series to put them as the first team forward to the next round.